Daryl Hannah, the star who lit up the big screen with her unforgettable roles in movies such as Splash and Kill Bill, is now 64, and her journey has touched the hearts of millions. What happened to her, and how did life change for this once famous actress? You might be shocked and even a little emotional. Back in the 1980s, Daryl was the face of Hollywood. Everyone loved her unique look, her charm, and her natural talent. People called her one of the most beautiful actresses of her time. But behind the glamorous life and movie premieres, there was something most fans did not know. Daryl Hannah has faced something that is rare in Hollywood. She was born with dyslexia. This learning difference made school extremely challenging for her. Reading, writing, and keeping up with classes was a daily struggle. Imagine trying to learn lines for movies while dealing with that. It was not easy. But Daryl did not let that stop her. She found her own way to succeed. Acting became her safe space, a place where she could shine. She worked hard, even when learning lines took longer than it did for others, and she made it big, starring in movies that are still loved today. Despite the fame, Daryl Hannah faced another challenge. Life in Hollywood was not always kind. She often felt pressured to look a certain way, act a certain way, and be perfect. Many stars struggle with this, but Daryl was different. She cared more about being true to herself than fitting into someone else's idea of beauty or success. Over the years, Daryl began to focus on something bigger than Hollywood. She became passionate about the environment. She worked with organizations to protect nature, oceans, and wildlife. For her, helping the planet became more important than movie premieres or awards. She wanted her life to have meaning beyond the screen. So what happened to Daryl Hannah at 64? First, she stepped away from the constant spotlight. She stopped chasing fame and started living life her way. She spends her time in quiet places, surrounded by nature. She continues to care about animals and the environment. And yes, she still acts sometimes, but she chooses roles that matter to her, not just roles that make her famous. Her appearance has changed too. Aging naturally in Hollywood is never easy, and Daryl has spoken openly about it. She embraces her wrinkles, her gray hair, and her natural self. She does not hide from the camera anymore or try to look like she did in her 20s. For Daryl, being authentic became more important than following trends. Some fans were surprised to see her now. Some even felt sad because they remembered her as the young star from movies they loved. But the truth is, Daryl's story is inspiring. She shows us that life is not about staying the same forever. It is about finding happiness in your own way, facing challenges bravely, and living with purpose. Another important part of Daryl's life is her health. She has been open about wanting to stay healthy, eat well, and live close to nature. But she also admits that life has not been perfect. There have been struggles with relationships and personal challenges, just like anyone else. And that is part of what makes her story so real. She is human. She is vulnerable. And she keeps moving forward. Daryl Hannah at 64 is not the Hollywood star she once was, but she is happier, stronger, and living life on her own terms. She reminds us that fame fades, but your choices, your heart, and the way you care for the world are what truly matter. She teaches us that even if life is hard, even if people expect something from you, you can still create a life that feels right for you. What happened to Daryl Hannah at 64? She changed. She grew. She stepped away from the spotlight. She embraced life differently, focused on what truly matters, and became an example of courage and authenticity. And if you watch her story carefully, you might just feel inspired to do the same in your own life. Her journey shows us that life is not about staying young forever. It is about living fully, being kind, and following your heart. And that is a story worth remembering.